So then the next session I tried 5 reps and just cut the rest in half. So 2 to 2.5 minutes and just 5 reps. And I found that way more manageable. Wasn't as pumped with... I think it's just not holding the bar on my back for that long saves my back.
It does make sense. But come the new year, the most that I had done in a session was like 15 reps. And you're like, dude, you got to start doing more than 15 reps in a session. I'm like,
First week was 140. The next week was 150 on my last set. And then this week was 160. And something about doing hundreds and hundreds of squats every week just makes your squat really strong. And the 160 for 5 felt like cake.
2.
Wait, go again.
1.
Yep.
2. 1.
Yep.
2.
Cool. Calibrated. Ready to go.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Big Flex.
Welcome back again. This is going to be a fun one today, actually.
I feel like you say that almost every time, but it's always a fun one here on the Big Flex.
I always have fun.
Yeah, always have fun. What are we talking about? What are we flexing on today on the Big Flex, Adrian?
Squats.
Ooh.
That's it.
Tell me more about squats.
We're doing lots of them. If you remember, for those OG subscribers, I guess, we did a 100 kilo squat challenge when our YouTube page got to 100 subscribers, and
when you're talking,
we raced.
We
raced to the 100. And
now, just before we continue, I can't remember how that went. So we raced to 100 squats. And what happened?
You won. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we raced and you won. And then we decided that all of these awful challenges were awful because we did that squat challenge. Then we did the squat challenge.
Yes. That was terrible.
Which
that
was also
right
awful.
at Christmas as well.
We discovered how competitive we both are and how hard we like to push ourselves, and that's a bad idea. So we changed up the challenge a little bit, and we said that when we get to 1,000 subscribers, we would do 1,000 squats.
1,100
kilo squats.
Yeah.
And so we have been training for that. And I got to say...
I would like to say we've been training for that loosely. That's very, very loose to say that we've been training for it. You've been training for it.
You have recently been training for it. But I got to say, I am enjoying it about as much as I thought I would enjoy it. And that is almost not at all.
Really? Are you serious? It's not. It's not that bad.
So many squats.
It's not that bad.
So for a while, I've been doing just like AMRAP sets at 100 at the end of my squat sessions, and like throwing them in there once a week, just getting used to the idea of doing lots and lots of reps at once. And then the last few weeks, we've ramped up the volume a lot. So last week I did 300, 100 kilo squats across the week. This week I'm planning on doing 450 across the week. And then when we get to the challenge, it's 500 each. In one session, which should take 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah.
And just that sudden increase in volume, just trying to ramp up and prepare my body for it, it's pretty rough. Go say it's been pretty rough.
I've been pleasantly surprised with how things have been going, to be honest, because I had some issues and I wasn't really training at all, and Adrian was doing all this training, and I say, we'll set the date. It'll be like the last weekend of January, and so it's going to be the first weekend of February. So it's going to be happening on Saturday, the 4th of February. We'll get into those details in a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I should probably start training at the end of last year, and then I just didn't. And then Adrian was like, hey man, you better start training, because you're not going to get 50 squats in, cramp up, and then make me do 950.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I suppose I better start training as well.
Yeah.
So while your prep, and Paul Bar, and we'll explain the sub-ins as well, but your prep has been going on for quite a while. I started...
I've just been trying to do big AMRAP sets of 20 plus at a time, just to feel the weight of pushing through and to failure. You know what I mean? So that when it finally gets to the challenge, I've just had weeks, months even, of just at least once a week or every couple of weeks pushing myself physically that hard.
No, I get you.
So when we're in 390 squats in, I'm like, I can't keep going.
It does make sense. But come the new year, the most that I had done in a session was 15 reps. And you're like, dude, you got to start doing more than 15 reps in a session. I'm like, all right. So come January 2nd was my first day of actually training for the squat challenge. So I give myself 4 weeks, guys. 4 weeks. And I'm feeling good. Week 1, I did just 2 sets of squats. No, I only squatted once in week 1. I squatted once in week 1, and week 2 I squatted twice. And one of those sessions was 100 reps. I did 10 by 10. And then last week, this week, I did 3 squats. I'm doing 3 squat sessions, and there was 150 reps in the first one. And then, no, last week I must have done 100 squat sets. I did. Either way, I don't know. I've lost count. It's so many reps. It's so many more reps than what I'm used to. But yeah, so I've been training for at least 3 weeks. 4 weeks. Next week will be the 4th week, and then
I know you're so much more chill about this, and you get upset when I say this. You get real upset when I say this. You weigh more than 100 kilos, so doing the 100 kilos for you ain't all that bad. I weigh less than 100 kilos. Doing the 100 kilos for me, it's just a little harder. So I've been trying to put in the work just to make sure, no matter what, that I will get my reps in.
I understand that I'm doing.
Like, I don't want to let the team down. Yeah. I'm just saying that there's disproportionate amount of effort from side of this team to side of this team. You know what I mean?
I'm also just saying that even though you squat ass to grass and I don't quite squat as deep as you, I squat so much more distance than you. So really, if you're talking about total work, I think I'd do more work.
It would still be in my favor, considering the power to weight ratio that we're talking about here.
I don't know.
Let's do some math and then come back to the people, because I feel like this is 100% skewed. Again, another challenge out of my favor.
Well, this was not a challenge this was a challenge for us to accomplish together.
Yeah, so if, let's say, I do struggle, then you've got to pick up some of the extra slack.
I'll try my best.
Which is really why I wanted you to start training.
Yeah. I just feel like... But also, at the same time, you're strong. You squatted 200 just recently, and you've been training consistently the last couple of years. You've not stopped squatting. I had literally a year and a half where I didn't squat.
The 6 months up until the start of this year, I got COVID last year in like May, I think it was.
You've had COVID 16 times.
I've had COVID twice. The first time in May, but I had whatever that long COVID nonsense is. For a whole month, I could barely get a training session in. Mm-hmm. I think I got like one session in a week for like 3 or 4 weeks. And then in the months after that, it took me probably 4 months before I was good again. Like, I'd start my training week out, get 2 or 3 days in, get a bit sick again, have to stop training. It took me like a week to recover. And that cycle continued for a while. So I like really backed my training intensity off for a bit, just trying to get the sessions in, and slowly had to build it back up.
Right.
Just couldn't handle anything heavy on my body. It was mainly when I did squats, because it's one of my heaviest lifts.
Yeah.
And I would just get sick again and have to rest, and then slowly build back into it. And then when I was finally able to get some consistency in, it was towards like the end of the year, December. That's when I got the 200 squat.
Yeah.
Everything's feeling great. I'm back into my volume again. It's feeling good. Got COVID again over Christmas. Slowed things right down. But thankfully this time it was a week and a half, and then I'm just all the way good. Right. That first bout of COVID sucked. So it's, finally going well now, and everything looks like it's going good. It's all on track, both of us now, into the full swing of our training. So we should be able to pull this off.
I feel fine about it all. I'm like, I'm not even pulling up that sore from the session. So you got 150 squats in a session, and it was fine. I've been, I think, let's tell everyone what the plan is in terms of like how we're gonna like attack it, what the game plan is. Yeah.
You were initially saying that you were thinking of doing a GVT, German volume training style thing, where you would do 10 reps, have about 4 to 5 minutes rest, and then 10 reps, and keep going like that.
Yes.
And try and get the volume in. Why did you decide you couldn't do that?
Well, that's what I did on my first high volume session when I did GVT. I did 10 by 10 with 4 to 4.5 minutes rest in between each set. And I was like, I just want to see how I feel, because I had nothing to compare it against, because I have not squatted literally in a year and a half, 2 years, right? So I'm like, all right, well, let's just YOLO this, right?
See what happens.
And what I found was my legs were good. My lungs would get tired, obviously, by the end of the set, but by 4 or 5 minutes, the lungs were good. The legs still felt pretty fine, even by the 100th rep. But my lower back, the erector spinae, the muscles, not the joints or anything, the muscles were like just pumped, like yoked from having to hold the weight on for a long time. So I was like, all right, that's interesting. Could I do another 400 of those? I don't know, maybe. Like, you had suggested that you were doing the 5s, or you were probably doing 5s.
Much more manageable. I did the 10s as well. One of my first sessions in the week where I did 300 across the week. I did GVT on the first day, 10 by 10, and I found the same thing. It was really tough by the 100th rep. Just holding the bar on my back for that many reps at once. I was just gassing out pretty hard. So then the next session I tried 5 reps and just cut the rest in half. So 2 to 2.5 minutes and just 5 reps. And I found that way more manageable. Wasn't as pumped with... I think it's just not holding the bar on my back for that long saves my back. Yeah,
I was just concerned because even though it's half as many reps that will fatigue you out during the set, it's half the amount of rest time because you're on 2.5-minute turnarounds, and it's twice as many sets overall. It's twice as many times racking and re-racking and walking out. So I was like, is that going to be cumulative fatigue from that? Anyhow, I did my next one in sets of 5, 30 sets of 5, more or less. And that actually felt fine. I've recovered way better. So I think,
manageable, I think.
So I think doing the 2.5-minute breaks, 5 rep sets is what we're going to go.
I think that's the way to go, yeah.
I pushed myself on Monday this week. I wanted to try to push the pace a bit and challenge myself. So I was alternating. I did like 5 sets of 10, couple sets of 5, set of 10, couple sets of 5, couple sets of 10, up to 150 reps. And I did the whole thing in 55 minutes and 40 seconds. So if you average it out, it ended up being 5 reps every 1 minute and 51 seconds. So like 40 seconds less rest and big sets of 10s in there as well. And even that was pretty good. So knowing that I can get 150 squats in less than an hour in unideal conditions, like pushing the rest periods to be pretty short, I feel really good like going into it.
I feel like it's those first 100 reps are going to be easy. 150, not that bad. 200, and then after that, it's going to start to get really tough. You know?
Right.
What I think we're going to have to do is like every hour on the hour almost is like load up on just sugar. You know, like BCAAs with the caffeine in it, or like some orange juice, or just replenish, because I can do 100 squats. It's not bad. I could push myself to 200 squats, but after a while, like at what point? That's a lot of weight to be squatting for so many reps.
Yeah.
When am I going to run out of juice?
So here's my tactics for carbo loading.
What do you think?
So I am going to carbo load a little bit the day before.
The day before, yep.
Nothing crazy. Maybe even 2 days before. Just slowly increase my carbs a little bit. If you have a heap of carbs, you're not used to it, you'll get gastric irritation. You're like, just shit yourself. So we don't want that.
I'm planning on doing the week before, just one
The
week.
whole week?
Potatoes.
Okay, potatoes the whole week?
Just way more, and slowly ramp it up over the week.
I'm just 2 days beforehand, I'm going to increase my carbs a little bit. The day before, increase it a little bit again. And then during the session, I still have a bunch of those carbo gel shots left over from when I was running the marathon. It's like 26 grams of carbs in sugar, basically. But what I'm also going to do is I'm going to alternate 1 drink bottle of water and 1 drink bottle of Powerade, which has sugars in that in it anyway.
And electrolytes be really important. So just the sheer amount of hours.
The problem is if you just drink the Powerade, like it is quite sickening after a while.
Yeah.
So if I just alternate, let's say the first 20 minutes I drink water, the next 20 minutes I sip from the Powerade, or like maybe 2 sets of squats I'll sip on water, 1 set of squats I'll sip on Powerade, and that way I'm just slowly keeping carbohydrates coming in, but without it being sickening and overpowering.
So the BCAAs that I have, they the Optimum Nutrition one, it's just BCAAs and a bit of caffeine, but they also do one that has plus electrolytes. It's like the same sort of thing as Powerade. It's just electrolytes in it, like per serving.
But they wouldn't have any carbs in there then. That's still protein, caffeine, and
exactly. But what I was
salts.
thinking was of having 3 things.
Geez.
So I have my water there as well.
Yeah.
The electrolytes I'm going to have every hour.
Okay.
So I'm going to have like a serving of that every hour, just a little bit of water, like shot it.
Yeah.
And then have some water with that.
Okay.
So I got a little bit of caffeine, so like keep my mental focus there.
All right.
So I'll have probably like 2 or 3 coffees, like over the course, with how much caffeine is in each one.
Okay.
Over the course of the challenge, because I feel like the hardest thing about this challenge isn't going to be physically doing the squats. It's a mental game of not letting that just defeat you by the end of it.
Okay.
It's just being able to walk to the bar, hit your reps, and not just be like, oh, this is a heavy, I don't want to do it, like that mentality. So just having a little bit of caffeine in me with the electrolytes will help as well. Just kind of keep them up. Because what do they say? Like after about an hour, you don't really need anything in that first hour. After an hour, especially if you're doing like team sports or something like that, you sweat a lot. We're going to be sweating our butts off. And then like 2 hours, 3 hours, it gets longer and longer. And they say that you should have like the sugary drinks with lots of electrolytes just to keep your body replenished.
Yeah.
And so the water, and then I'm thinking I want something that's got a lot of calories in it. And so I'm thinking just an easy one. I'm not gonna be able to eat anything or I'll throw up, I think. So just orange juice. Orange juice, I think, is the way to go. Looking at how many calories and how much carbs are in some orange flavored fruit drinks that aren't technically allowed to be called orange juice, have so many calories in them. So I think that would just be an easy to digest, especially if I'm sweating so much.
Yeah.
Like something to replenish.
I guess just it depends on how much you have. Again, same thing. Like you don't want to, poop yourself mid session.
That's
like,
what I mean.
Just,
like there's a surprising amount of calories in some orange juices.
Yeah.
Like a surprising amount.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try that, and I'm gonna not just go for it. Every hour I'm gonna like try and have a little bit of the electrolytes and then a little bit of orange juice. Just drink water in between.
Yeah.
And just try and like stagnate, like push it out and last the challenge. For me, it's not about how quick I'm gonna do it. For me, it's just all about surviving.
That's very dramatic.
If
I
I
feel like
have
it's
to-
not going to be that bad.
If I have to, I'll push my rest periods out longer and longer.
Okay, but the
I
goal
I
is
just want to
our
get it,
goal is to, and again, are we just going to hit them at the same time roughly?
roughly.
Yeah, that'd be easier on the clock. Then we don't have to like go you at 0, me at like a minute 25, you at 2:30. Like, do you know
We
what I
should
mean?
really write it all
Minute
down
15.
on the board, like yours, then mine, and we should just cross them off each set as we go.
I
so
was
we
just
don't get-
tempted to write. I think what we do is just as you do your set, you write how many reps up you did on the board. So if it's like 5,
can do
10,
5
15.
forever, yeah.
No, but I mean,
Oh, you like
we
write the
yes,
reps.
we
Yeah.
write the reps in.
Yeah, okay.
So, and we'll have different color pens, so we can always track what we did later if we want to.
Yeah.
That's easy. Now we do have a little support network. Now I need to check if Megan is still even down and Gavin. Byron's there. It might just be Byron.
They better
We'll
be.
see. It might just be Byron. All right.
You got to work it out for you, Byron.
So it might just be Byron. He might have to do just like 6 AMRAP sets. No, he's listening to this going, how? He's listening to this going,
Dare you?
wait, I missed it.
Have you ever done a podcast before?
How dare you?
Yes.
So we have some support characters.
Yeah.
All right. In our event, they're like wild cards. They can step in and do So we decided on one AMRAP set only, right? Or was
No,
it one
well,
each?
I think maybe 1 each. We haven't quite decided. Let me get a hold of Gavin and
But explain what's going on, right?
basically, yeah, we get to like tag. You say, Byron, Adrian's done. I've done 150 squats. Byron, you get out there, do one AMRAP set.
As
So
many reps as
as
possible.
many reps as you can do.
At 100 kilos. So we've been training, Byron
Yeah.
and I. It's been part of his program for a while. And he's got one of his best ones. He got 26 reps in one set.
Yeah.
So we're hoping that he gets a good 25 to 30 reps in one set. And that's going to come away from the total amount of reps that
Of
we're
our
doing,
squat,
right?
yeah.
Because we weren't sure if we would be able to get the full 500 each.
I think we will.
And
I
if
might
we
even-
absolutely need it, like I'm thinking towards the end of the
Might
500.
even throw a wild card in there. So let's say, like, at the end of the day, they've only given us like a combined 60 reps.
Yeah.
Maybe we just do an extra 30 each anyway and do the full 500 each.
I'm
Yeah.
only going to use it when and if I need it.
Right.
So basically, it's going to be towards the end in the last hour or so.
All right.
When we're hitting like 400, working up to that 500. Like if I'm really struggling, then I'll use it.
Okay.
So,
I was thinking just at the gate, I'll get all 3 of them just to hit the AMRAP for me before I even do a single rep.
so you start this squat challenge that you and I are going to do with other people squatting.
Yeah. Maybe.
no, they're supposed to be there as a support if we need them.
Yeah.
So because what if we don't need them and we're just like, thanks for coming, guys, and just smash all the squats? Then
No,
we're-
you have to let Byron do at least one set
Yeah,
because
he's
he's
100%
been training so long for it.
he will.
Yeah.
He will. He
He'd
will
be
leave
filthy.
the gym.
He'd be filthy about
Okay,
it.
that's a good point. You're definitely helping out, Byron.
Yeah.
Well, as we know, Megan's just been busy crushing competitions,
Yeah.
winning thousands of dollars. Gavin loves cardio now, so we're not even sure if he squats anymore. But the people that we chose to help us with the squat challenge can rep out 100 pretty comfortably. So like I know that Megan's not been training for the squats because she's been doing
Well, you better believe she's training squats this Friday morning when she gets back to the gym.
because she's
lots
been
and lots of
crushing,
squats,
crushing
Megan.
competitions. And
Yeah.
I know that Gav has been he's changed up
He's
lately.
training for a distance gravel bike race that's like 87 kilometers long with like over 2,000 meters of elevation. It's like 3 peaks he has to do
He's
down
definitely
south.
working his legs then.
He's working his legs. He's working his conditioning. So I think he'll be fine to
Has
bust
he
out a
been
couple AMRAP
squatting
sets.
lately, though?
He's been doing some squats and hex bar work.
Awesome.
So
he should be good. to
he
go.
should be good to go.
Yeah, but Megan hasn't been doing squats at all, right? She's been doing
0 squats.
just quickly.
But she's been
What
deadlifting
did
4
Megan
times
do
a
this
week.
weekend?
Megan competed in 2 events. She competed in the Australia Strongest Pro Invitational, which was people from around the world. So, for example, Donna Moore, who's a 3-time Open World Champion. Donna beat Megan over at OSGs.
Yep.
She came 3rd. Megan came 7th. She was there. The UK Strongest Woman was there. New Zealand Strongest Woman was there for open weights. And so for this Pro Invitational, there's no weight classes, just all these girls from all the weight classes thrown in together. Megan ended up coming 3rd, beat Donna Moore. She came, the New Zealand Strongest Woman won it. And second place was, I think, World Strongest Woman / UK Strongest Woman, who's a heavyweight. And then Megan came in 3rd. So Megan was the only one, I believe, who normally competes in 82 on the podium, the only Australian on the podium. And she beat out...
Some of the people that beat her in a previous comp.
Correct.
That's awesome.
That's what happens when you have to travel the other side of the world. It's a little bit harder sometimes.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
And then the next
The
day,
very next day, she competed in the local Australian version, which was against 4 or 5 other local ladies, and she won that one. She won 4 out of 5 events.
Awesome. And there were some cash money prizes, right? She
did
got
all right.
paid for these ones, which is great.
Yeah.
Which is good to see.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So she hasn't been squatting. She's been
Deadlifting and doing other strongman stuff. But
Crushing.
but she's strong.
Yeah.
So she'll be good to go, I think.
awesome. So
Yeah.
we should have our support team there with this.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
And now one other thing. Speaking of support team, to all of our members, please come. Please come and hang out while we squat.
Well, there's gonna be-
my
yeah.
biggest fear for the day, and this is why I say that.
Oh.
My biggest fear for the day.
What's your biggest...
is-
wait. What's your biggest fear for the day?
My biggest fear for the day, Nevin,
Yeah.
is listening to myself sweat and grunt for 4 hours straight
Yeah.
with nothing to distract me,
Mm-hmm.
and just quietly knowing how many more squats I still have to go.
Well, I think...
That the mentality is going to break me.
I
I
think-
think physically it should be fine. So I need people to just come here and talk smack
Yeah.
and distract me.
Now, there's people can support in two ways.
Positive
So-
only.
They can come to the gym. It's just going to be Saturday afternoon. We haven't
Yeah.
figured out time yet, but we'll
Yeah.
get a rough
It'll be
time
after
hashed
our
out.
Saturday
It'll be
shift.
after our Saturday shift, probably
Yep.
around midday. We'll start or something. Give us time to get some food in afterwards.
Yep.
So it'll be probably like 12 till 4, roughly like that.
Something like
so
that, yep.
feel free on if you're in town, you want to come watch us do just a heap of squats.
Saturday the 4th of February.
4th of Feb, around midday. But check the Facebook page because
Yeah.
we'll post it on there.
We'll post it
The
on
other
the page, I
option
think, yeah.
is that we are putting up, I'm going to put up a live stream. So I've got
Yeah.
all the equipment needed for a live stream now. I've got the dummy battery so the camera will run indefinitely. I've got the streaming box, so it basically turns the camera signal into like a webcam signal, and then you put it to your computer, and then,
Cool.
then you run it through the software, and then you can put that straight onto... So I need to do a practice run the week of, which is my plan. But basically, we will also live stream the event. So if you
Awesome.
are far away, you can watch us live stream.
Just
Now,
check in every now and again and like see how many reps we've
Yeah.
done and
Look.
if we're still alive.
in order to not get pulled from YouTube, I can't have copyright violations.
What is that?
Which means we can't just
Music?
play normal music.
What music
so
are we gonna play?
what I'm going to do is, you know how I have those music that I have an account with
they're like,
with Artlist. It's royalty free music.
yeah,
I bought the
royalty-free, yeah.
license
Yeah.
and I'm allowed to use that music in any of my.
Is it like
things.
is it 4 hours worth?
I need to download some more songs. Otherwise, it'll be like
It was like
yeah.
3 songs.
I've downloaded over the last couple months about 30 songs, so I need to download a bunch more.
Yeah.
I'll get roughly 4 hours of music worth, or 3
Okay.
hours, and
Alright, that
then
solves
it will
that.
just have general background music that's not going to get flagged for copyright. That we can listen to while we're lifting, and that can also be on the video in the background.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So people can just check in if they're not in town.
Yes.
Yeah, but for those of you who can, please come along and just hang out. You don't have to come for the whole 4 hours. Just come, talk some smack, help us out, motivate us.
Yeah.
Would also help. Please be nice.
I feel like I don't need motivation. I'm feeling good.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. It's not that. It's just going in knowing that I have to do so much. I would like to just think about other things. Like the other day during my session, my 2.5 minute breaks, I came in and just was doing some programming on the computer and like, alarm went off, another round of squats. Not actually thinking about it made it so much easier than just staring at the bar, breathing, waiting for my next set. It's just so much worse, you know? It's like that impending doom feeling.
The feeling of impending doom.
Just being distracted made it so much more manageable. So
Very
yeah,
aggressive.
please come and distract us. That
Cool.
would be very greatly appreciated.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so how are you ramping up in your last week getting ready for it?
All right. So this week I did, like I mentioned, 150 squats on Monday.
Yeah.
I was going to 150 tomorrow, but I'm actually giving platelets tomorrow, and they say don't like do strenuous things afterwards, and that's in the morning. So I was going to come in maybe like early and just do a couple heavy sets of 5 just to upregulate the central nervous system a little bit, like 120 to 140, nothing crazy, and then do one more 150 rep session on Saturday, which will be my last big rep session. So that will in total give me like 350-ish, 320 to 350 squats, depending on how many I do tomorrow. So I'm happy with that. I don't really want to do the full 450. You said you would feel bad doing the whole full 450 in a day?
I just want to know that I can do it across the week.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel comfortable in doing that. Like when I was training for the marathon stuff, like I did only 3/4 of the marathon volume the week before. So I feel good about just doing the 3/4 roughly of the work this week. Then next week, I'm going to train Monday, Wednesday, 3 sets of 5. Again, a little heavier than 100, just to upregulate the nervous system a little bit without fatiguing out too much. Just so when I get onto the weekend, Saturday, 100 kilos in the back, it feels like I was doing 120s or 130s earlier.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because I've been doing the same thing on the session at the start of the week, the Tuesday session. I usually do Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
Yeah.
And on the Tuesday session, I count them as my sets of 5. And I started 100, and I've been doing 100, 120, 140. And it was, the first week was 140, the next week was 150 on my last set. And then this week was 160. And something about doing hundreds and hundreds of squats every week just makes your squat really strong. And the 160 for 5 felt like cake. And I like doing that as part of them. So I did like 5 at 100, 20, 40, 60, back down to 100, and then just kept going. I got 125 reps that session.
Yeah.
Just training fatigued like that after doing the heavier sets. Every set of 100 felt more than 100.
Yeah.
And so doing that whole session feeling a little fatigued made me feel good knowing that even tired, even after really pushing myself, I can still get a lot of reps out. And same thing, like up-regulating the nervous system. So I'm doing that on the Tuesday one. And then the Thursday and Saturday was just going to be way more reps. So I was going to do 150 on Thursday, and then
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then 175 was going to be on the Saturday one. Oh. So all at 100. So just like ramping up and building up, and I'll have done 450 across the week. And then next week, same thing on Tuesday. It's just a 5x5, relatively heavy, like around the 140 to 160, with 3-4 days rest, just to really
cool.
Properly rest. I'm going to throw some ice baths in there, maybe get a massage.
Oh, this guy.
Really enjoy myself.
I think it's good. I'm excited for it. I think it's not going to be too crazy. I think there'll be obviously some fatigue, but I think, like you said, a few people in here having a chat, take your mind off things.
Exactly.
Sets of 5 are very doable, like very maintainable, especially on the longer rest periods.
And to be fair, by the end of the session, it's only taken me an hour to get 125 reps in.
Yeah.
I'm not like doing what I said I'm going to be doing, where like having some orange juice and replenishing, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's going to make a big difference going into another day.
On Monday, I forgot everything. I literally got to work. I had my double scoop protein shake with creatine. And then I did 150 squats in 55 minutes. I was like, guess I forgot all my other food. So I just did them and then went home, and it was fine. Yeah. So
I think it'll be all right. I think I'm gonna struggle a little bit, but I think I'll get through it.
Nice.
Just classic Nev style.
Just a bit of heart.
Just it's all about heart. It's all about heart.
That's right.
Wait, that one? It's all about heart, Jared.
Yeah.
You know it best.
Yeah.
I think we got this.
I think so too. Yeah. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed that quick little podcast there, just to touch you up on how we're going to do the squat challenge. Yeah. And you can either come in person or you can watch the live stream. I will have the link up on the Facebook page. I'll put a link up on Instagram and all that sort of stuff as well. And if you're out there and you're listening and you think I could do 500 kilo squats, could you? How many can you do? How many can you do in an AMRAP set? In one set, my record was 26, I think. Oh, this is
heavy squats.
I just figured out what the next challenge is.
Please no.
Yes. We can do.
What have I done?
No.
What?
AMRAP set. One AMRAP set at body weight squats.
I like that. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So it'll be a bit lighter for you, a bit heavier for me. We don't do it straight away. We give ourselves.
Oh, I'm not going to squat for 6 months after this.
No, I was thinking like have the week off and then film the AMRAP set while we're still fresh into it. You know?
And I was going to say, like, that'd be a fun challenge for people who are watching. People who can squat 100 kilos like relatively comfortably. How many can you do in one set? How many can you do in one session?
Yeah.
Test it out, and then we'll show you what 1,000 looks like.
Let us know. All right, guys. Hope you all enjoyed that. Hit that subscribe button, like, share, comment, all that good stuff, and we will see you next time on the Big Flex.
Saturday, February 4th. So tune in.
February 4th. See you guys. Cool.
I like that.